Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into a single house in Coquitlam, BC, the Alsbury Munday house at 903 Walls Avenue.
That's right. And first off, let's clarify the name. It's Munday, M-U-N-D-A-Y.
Yeah, not Monday like the day of the week, which is easy to mix up, especially since the park named after them, Munday Park, uses a different spelling, M-U-N-D-Y.
Exactly, and that spelling difference is just one of the little mysteries we'll touch on. But the house itself, built around 1920, has quite a story.
It became a heritage property back in 2016, right?
It did, yeah. But the really eye-catching thing happened more recently, in 2020. They didn't just preserve it on its spot.
No, they actually moved it. I remember seeing photos of that.
They did, an incredible engineering job. They physically lifted and shifted the entire house over to the west side of the lot, 903 Walls Avenue.
Which allowed for subdivision, right? That classic tension between preserving history and, well, maximizing land value.
Precisely. It tells you the house had to be significant enough to justify that kind of effort and expense.
So what made it so important?
Well, fundamentally, it corrected a long-standing historical assumption, almost a myth, you could say.
About the original landowners, George and Jane Munday.
Yes. For years, the local history narrative was that they were basically absentee landlords, owned huge tracts of land, including what became Munday Park, but weren't really residentially part of the community fabric.
Ah, so they were seen as detached investors, maybe?
Kind of, yeah. But the research done for the heritage designation blew that apart. It proved their granddaughter, Cora Munday, who married James Alsbury, actually lived in that house for many years.
Okay, so the house itself is the proof, direct residential link.
Exactly. It anchors the Munday family right there, boots on the ground, you know. It validated its heritage status and changed how we see the family's connection to Coquitlam.
Let's talk about the builder, Cora's husband, James Alsbury. What do we know about him?
James William Hodge Alsbury. He came over from Australia, was a ship carpenter by trade, married Cora in 1918, and the records mention him having a distinguished career later on.
But there's a question mark somewhere in his story.
A pretty significant one, actually. His World War I service. It's murky.
How so?
Well, some genealogical digging connects him to the Royal Berkshire Artillery Regiment. That's British Army.
Okay.
But did he actually serve with them? Or did he enlist here in Canada with the Canadian Expeditionary Force, the CEF? We just don't have that confirmation. It's a real gap in understanding the man who built this now historic house.
Interesting. A personal mystery tied to a public landmark. Now, stepping back, the land itself, the foundation of this whole story, the 1895 Crown Grant.
Right, the origin point of the Munday land wealth.
And crucially, it wasn't issued to George Munday, was it?
No. And this is fascinating. For the time period, late 19th century BC, the grant was officially issued in the name of his wife, Jane Constance Munday.
Which is unusual. What might that imply?
It could mean several things. Maybe Jane was the one with the financial clout or the driving force, real empowered female ownership. Or perhaps it was some kind of strategic legal move, to protect the assets under her name. We don't know for sure, but it puts Jane right at the center of the dynasty's founding.
So we have Jane holding the original grant, the family name definitely being M-U-N-D-A-Y.
Yet the park, established by bylaw in 1971, is officially M-U-N-D-Y Park. Why the spelling changed is still an acknowledged sort of local history puzzle. Nobody's quite pinned down the reason.
And even with this strong foundation, the house built by James for Cora didn't necessarily signify permanence for them personally.
Yeah, sadly. Despite building this symbol of their union and connection to the land, James and Cora eventually divorced. The house outlasted the marriage it was built for.
Adds a layer of human drama to the bricks and mortar.
It really does. It makes the history more relatable, doesn't it? This enduring structure, witnessing the breakdown of the relationship it represented.
Okay, so recapping. The house disproves the absentee landlord myth, the builder James has this military service riddle, and the dynasty's land grant points to Jane Munday. What's the loose end? What's the next thread for a historical detective?
It's about going back another generation, specifically looking for Cora's maternal grandfather. So Ida Munday's father.
Ida was Cora's mother, Jane, and George's daughter. Why is her father the focus now?
Because it potentially unlocks a different kind of wealth. The Mundays built their fortune on land, huge amounts of it, granted by the crown.
Right, assets.
But land isn't cash. Identifying Ida's father, the maternal grandfather's lineage, might lead us to the source of liquid capital.
Ah, the actual money needed for things.
Exactly. Where did the cash come from? The funds needed for initial development, for improvements, maybe even the capital that helps launch James Alsbury into that distinguished career we mentioned earlier.
So finding him could complete the financial picture, not just land ownership, but the flow of money.
That's the idea. It moves beyond just knowing what they owned, understanding how they operated, how they funded things. If you want the full socioeconomic story of this influential family, figuring out the source of the cash, not just the land, is a crucial next step. That's the puzzle piece to look for.